Hey, happy Saturday, everyone. This is From Powerless to Powerful show with your host, Rise and Wing Coach Cynthia Newell of Dare to Dream. I am so excited to be here with you this Saturday afternoon. Just a little bit about me. I run a spiritual life coaching practice named Dare to Dream, where I show women how to give voice to their vision so that it has full expression in their lives. There has been seasons in my life where I have felt lost, last, and disconnected from this dream that I hold of running a coaching practice, being a successful entrepreneur, in essence. I know that I came to earth to encourage and empower through inspirational teaching, spiritual enlightenment, and guided transformation. However, sometimes that can get lost in the responsibilities of motherhood, being a wife, and just day-to-day living, paying bills, working a 9 to 5. But I seriously believe that we all deserve to start waking up to a life that we love. That's why through this podcast, my listeners get trained on how to release internal conflict. I have definitely faced my fair share of conflict internally. So I help you strengthen your resilience muscle so you can enjoy the minutes and moments in life. I believe that now more than ever, it's time to create a life that makes us want to jump out of bed every day. So today I want you to sit back, listen, learn, and laugh as I share tales of personal tragedies, triumphs, and testimonies while highlighting the wisdom that I've acquired from them. If you missed my last podcast, it was a couple of weeks ago where I talked about saved and in love with a gay woman. You can find that recording on my Facebook page at Powerless to Powerful Podcast. You can also go to the Elation Gospel Radio Network page on Spreaker, and you can find it there. We're also on iHeartRadio and Spotify, so you can find all of the previous shows there. And if anyone is struggling with, relationship with their siblings, I think that podcast will really support you. It will support you with being able to accept others for who they are and how they are, and even accepting yourself. So you could catch that again on the Spreaker Network under Elation Gospel Radio Network on Spreaker, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. Today, I want to talk to you about something that's very near and dear to my heart that I believe it will support a lot of people, with it being National Breast Awareness Cancer Month. I didn't have breast cancer, but I was diagnosed with colon cancer a few years ago. So for anyone who's been following me and know a little bit about my story, you know that was my experience in April of 2016. And so today I want to talk about 10 things. I've learned so much, but I couldn't do all of the things that I learned in this time that I have with you. But I wanted to share 10 things that I learned about life, about myself, through that cancer experience. Before I get started, though, I want to send a special shout-out to Miss Kimmy Robinson for all of the work that she does to support entrepreneurs such as myself, visionaries, big dreamers, people that have a ministry and a message. Thank you so much, Kimmy, for sharing your platform with us, allowing us to do the work of God, and sharing us with your community. Thank you. And let's continue to pray for Miss Kimmy as she continues to recover from her experience with breast cancer. Let's just continue to pray. And I want to do a gone but not forgotten to my best friend who I lost last year, April of last year, Miss Darlene Boyd. You will always be a bright star shining in my heart. I lost Darlene to cancer. She was originally diagnosed with breast cancer in 2012. And she fought a good fight of faith, and she laid down her armor last year. And so I miss you, girl. Love you. Sending shouts out up to you in heaven. But today, this afternoon, as I share your Saturday with you, I just want to talk about 10 valuable lessons that I learned through being diagnosed with stage 3 colon cancer. I will tell you that that was one of the most pivotal moments in my life. I've always been very sensitive to life. I've never really taken life or people for granted, or so I thought, until I faced being told that I had a malignant tumor in my right colon, and the only way to deal with it was to have an emergency surgery to have the entire colon removed. Up until that point in life, I seriously believe that I took life for granted. I wasted time. I whined and complained about how life would let me be who I was created to be. I was very ignorant to the fact that I had a lot of say-so in how my life turned out, that there was not this presence many, many, many moons away dictating my life like I was a puppet. And so that experience, one of the lessons that I learned from it was not to waste time on frivolous things, people, and situations. And what I mean by waste time is when you understand how a person operates. Let's say you have someone that's super negative in your life. I learned, because I have that experience, that don't waste time on trying to change them. Don't waste time being frustrated about who they are. Don't waste time situations. Don't waste time being angry about situations that have happened. Instead, use your time to decide how you will change you in the situation, how you will change you in dealing with the negative person or the things. When you understand how a thing operates, it's like when you learn how to use a computer, you're not going to try to make that computer do something that it's not designed to do. If you do try to do that and you continue to try to do that, then you're going to find yourself frustrated, because you're trying to make something happen that just can't. You can't make a negative person be unnegative. The only thing that you could do is control how you interact with that person, limiting the time, limiting the conversations, not sharing joyous and happy things with them, because you know that it'll be shot down due to their negativity. So I learned, don't waste time on frivolous things, frivolous people, or situations. Don't waste my emotional space and my mental space trying to even figure out, why is it this way? It is what it is, and accept the thing for what it is and learn how to deal with it accordingly. That was a very valuable lesson. All of these lessons were very valuable. And if you're facing anything in your life right now, I will invite you and encourage you, don't waste time trying to change other people. If you have someone in your life, your spouse, they have a trait that you absolutely cannot stand, understanding that your spouse is a gift to you, even the negative person in your life is a gift to you, because what they do is bring out the best in you. If you understand on a higher spiritual level their role. Their role is to help you develop and grow and expand and trust God more, learn you more. And so while you're angry at this financially irresponsible person, spouse, or this irresponsible kid, what is the experience teaching you about you? You should think about that. What is this experience teaching me about me? And how can I be better in this experience? A lot of times we want to change everybody else, but we got to look at the man in the mirror, and we have to change, be willing to change ourselves. I love this quote that I don't know who said it originally, but it says, be the change that you want to see. If you have somebody that's negative, check yourself. Check your negativity thermometer and see, are you putting that out there? And in some cases, I won't say most, in some cases you're not. It's just the way that that person interprets life. But even in this not wasting time, don't waste time trying to figure out why are they that way. Accept them for who they are and learn how to deal with them accordingly. So that was a very powerful lesson because I had the habit and the pattern of having to, I spent a lot of time on situations and people trying to understand why and what did I do and how can I change them or change the situation through another means of not changing me. And so that really lifted a lot of burdens off of me, which I really feel led to the whole cancer experience. Like, my cancer experience was a wake-up call for me. Another thing that I learned was to speak my truths with the right motives. And so, a lot of times in my past, I may have spoken my truths angrily, the motive to hurt someone, the motive to bring it to their attention, but I didn't do it in the best way. My truths deserved and needed to be spoken. A lot of times I didn't speak my truths. I just internalized things, and that's another thing that is on my list. About number 3 is expressing, not suppressing my feelings. A lot of times I suppressed what needed to be spoken, what needed to be said. I suppressed it, and it manifested into illness. The stresses that I didn't have an outlet for manifested into an illness that shook me and said, wait a minute, it's time for you to change how you're interacting with life. Cancer was a wake-up call for me. When I initially received the diagnosis, it's something about the spirit man, the spirit of us. The spirit part of me did not interpret it as a death sentence, though my mind was all over the place and my emotions was, oh, my God, me, not me. How could I be diagnosed with cancer? But spiritually, I understood that this was a wake-up call, and it was an invitation to interact with life on a whole different level. So number 4 was, now is the best time to create the life that I want to wake up to every day. We wake up, for those big dreamers and visionaries, we can allow life to get in the way. And that's what I did. Oh, I got the kids. Oh, I got to go to work, and I have to pay these bills, and oh, I got to go to school and get a degree because nobody's going to want to hire me, or they're going to want to see credentials, and oh, I got to do this and I got to do that, and all the while pushing aside my dreams and my desires, my visions. Oh, I got to have this in place before I show up in this way. Oh, nobody's going to receive me. I got to have this type of website. I got to be doing this. I got to show this type of credibility. I got to wasting time. Now I learned that now was the best time to create the life that I wanted to wake up to. I learned to start where I was, use what I had, and keep moving. Keep moving. Your dreams are attached to your spirit, your soul. It's who you are. And so that nagging voice every day, that vision that you have, my vision was or is releasing corporate America and being a full-time entrepreneur, successfully supporting and serving others using my gifts, my experiences, my knowledge, and training men and women how to release internal conflict so that they can walk in newness, so that they can create the life that gives voice to their vision. That's my dream. So every day, instead of looking at how things are not, how are things? And so I get up at 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning. I've been up since 3:30 this morning, working, doing things, praying, listening, honoring, now is the best time to create the life I want to wake up to. I learned to honor. That's number 5. I didn't have it on my list, but so we'll have 11 things. But I learned to honor the call, the yearning, the longing in my heart to be and do and have the life that I desire. And I learned to start on a smaller scale, and I build it up. I learned to have standards, the things that I say yes to, and have boundaries, the things that I say no to, guilt-free. You know, cancer was a wake-up call. It was a wake-up call. It wasn't a death sentence for me. It was a wake-up call. Number 5 was I learned to let other people handle their own messes. And so earlier on in my life, because I did not feel as though I mattered to the adults around me, the way that I interpret that and it manifested in my adult life is I'll make myself matter by trying to fix everyone, fix their problems, loaning people money when I didn't have it to loan, listening to someone whine and complain about something instead of telling them the truth about how they're contributing to the situation, being that fall girl for everyone, dealing with men that meant me no good, trying to handle their messes, making life better for other people. I learned to let people handle their own messes. You know, I've shared, experiences about having a financially irresponsible spouse. I've been married twice, so no one can say who I'm talking about, but I've learned that. And I've also learned how to let that be their issue. And I'm going to teach a segment on that because I know that there are spouses out there that wonder, well, how do you let that be their issue and their finances contribute to the household? And if they don't do their part, it all falls on me. I learned how to be at peace with the people in my life and how to let them handle their own messes. Let them be accountable. You have to make people accountable, but you're not responsible for anyone. You're responsible to certain people in your life, but you're not responsible for anyone. And so when people create messes in their life due to their own choices, then I will, if they ask me my opinion, I'll offer it, but I'm not taking on anybody's message, trying to clean them up for them. I'll offer information if I'm solicited for it. You got to give people back their mess, because if you're carrying other people's mess, you can't deal with your own mess. We all got our own mess that we have to deal with. You can't deal with your pains and your past issues, the things that you need to be healed from because you're so entangled in somebody else's. The way that I've learned to deal with other people's mess right now is I pray for them. I pray for them, and I pray for them strategically. And if God gives me a word for them, I share it, and that be that. So number 6, I learned to ask the right questions. So in the years leading up to the revelation of cancer, being diagnosed with it, I became very ill, and it started with just abdominal pains of just nausea and headaches. And I would, do what regular people would do, take a leave and watch what I eat. And then it progressed into vomiting for hours and being on the toilet for hours, it coming out of both ends and no energy. And then I kept losing weight. I didn't have an appetite. It progressed into very poor gas, like whatever I ate. It just gave me really bad gas, and I was losing blood due to the tumor, so that produced anemia, and so I had to have blood transfusions. It just progressed, and so I couldn't ignore it any longer. Life will bring you to a point where you can't ignore the signs. Pay attention. Look where you are. Assess what's going on. And so I remember And I thank God for this experience because it's taught me so much. It really taught me how to hone in to the voice of God too. I'll say that that's a 5A. But I remember sitting in the floor in my living room and asking God, what is going on? Before, I didn't ask that question because honestly, y'all, I don't think I wanted to know. I thought it was just stress. I chalked it off to stress. We were experiencing some stressful times in our marriage. Just a lot had transpired, and I thought maybe my body is responding to that. But it never subsided, and so it was time to start asking different questions. So I sat, and I asked God what was going on with my body. And number 6 is sitting still long enough to hear the answers. I learned that was paramount. And as I sat still, God revealed to me what was happening in my body. And so for anyone, no matter what you're facing, if it's a cycle of poor relationships, a pattern of poor relationships, you got money issues, you got marital problems, you keep having miscarriages, every relationship that you have or every child that you have, your relationship with them is poor. You've been to umpteen churches, whatever it is, you need to sit still and ask God, what is going on? And if you don't know what questions to ask God what questions to ask. Sit still long enough to hear the questions that you need to ask. And then ask those questions with faith, knowing that God is going to give you the answer. I've learned to ask more questions, interrogate God, and God will give me answers through various means. So that's another segment we're going to talk about, later on, how God speaks to you. God speaks to me through songs and messages and animals and random stuff that I see, billboards, bumper stickers. But you learn how to hone in and hear the voice of God by spending time with God, and that comes through sitting still, walking, unplugging from this world, this busy world of social media and TV and reality shows and all the crap that's out there, shopping and got to have the latest this and unplug and recharge your spiritual battery so that you can be renewed, you can be led, you can be refreshed, and you can be informed. So number 8 is, and I talked about this one already, expressing, not suppressing my feelings. I think that, I learned that from an early age. Your feelings don't matter. People, these grown people in your life, they trying to make sure you got something to eat. They ain't got time to sit up and ask you about your day or listen to what's going on in your world. How was school? What was the best? So I learned to suppress a lot of things until I hit about 17. I had an outlet. I started writing poetry, and that's where my first book that I published independently 17 years later, Ode to Tell the Story, Chronicles of an Afro-American Woman, that's how that book came about, having an outlet. But a lot of times I didn't trust the people in my world enough to express my feelings, and so a lot of times I would have knots in my stomach and I would feel the burden of those feelings not being expressed but suppressed. So if your outlet is poetry, if you have someone in your life that you trust and you feel that they are loyal, express your feelings. But you can always express your feelings through prayer. Don't suppress them. When you're angry, let that anger out. Don't act like you're not angry. Holler in a pillow. Go sit in a car in the park and scream to the top of your lungs. Cry. Do what you need to do to let those emotions out so that they don't go find a place to make a home inside of your body and manifest into illness or something else, depression or, that's an illness. Another thing that I learned through my cancer was to stop judging myself. Stop judging myself. Stop having these absolutes about yourself. Be open to experiencing you, to learning you, to loving you. I had so many judgments about myself and about life. That was what I was taught. But like I said, the cancer experience, it was an invitation to life. It wasn't a death sentence. It was an invitation to start truly living. And so I'm so grateful for that experience. I don't take not one day for granted. I don't take not one gift for granted. And so that's why I even do my podcast, because I'm a server at heart, and I want to support others in living a life that, like I said in my bio or my opening, whatever it was, a life that makes you want to jump out of bed every day. And so I had to stop judging myself. Oh, Cynthia, you're this way. I had to stop believing what other people said about me and develop a relationship with me. Oh, okay, why do I do X, Y, and Z? I wanted to understand me so that I was not so easily torn and pulled and yanked this way and pulled that way. And then I was able to love myself and stop judging myself. Number 10 is I learned how to care for myself better with food and movement. I remember leading up to the diagnosis, I remember my brother had come into town and he had came over to the house, and my mother had came over, and we just went for a walk. Anybody that knows me knows that walking is my thing. I love to walk. I love to that's like my time with God and being with nature. And it's so funny because my kids, all three of them, they love to take walks. Even little Samantha now, we go for a walk, at least 3 or 4 times a week, and we just talk and we just be. But I remember when my brother came in and my mother, we just took a walk, literally, guys, around the corner, and I was so winded. Like, I saw stars. I was about to faint. I didn't have the energy. That's because I didn't have blood in my body. And so I had blood, of course, because I was alive. But what I'm saying is my blood count should have been at about 11 or 12, but for me it was at 3. So I really didn't have much blood in my body. Just wanted to clear that up. It's like, how could you not have blood and you were alive, girl? Okay, so now that we cleared that up, but after that experience, I kept moving. So I walk constantly. I explore different foods, and I make better choices with the foods that I put in my body. For years, I've been overweight. We'll just be honest about it. I was going to say plus size, but I've been overweight, and I've wanted to release the weight, and I never felt disciplined enough to do it. But when I had that experience and I was able to go without eating, or I would eat very little, it taught me, you have the discipline. It's a mind. It's a mind thing. So now that I've picked up some weight, and this is happy weight, like, do I want to be overweight? No. Will I do something about it? Absolutely. But I'm glad to not be sick anymore, and that weight release came from being ill. So now I get to consciously and creatively release the weight in a loving way. And so through my experience, I learned how to eat better and move more. And I thank God that I'm able to move more now without feeling like I'm going to die. Number 11, and it's the last one, I learned to value life and good relationships. It's so easy for us to get hung up on what isn't, what should be better, who should be different. But every day I wake up, I'm just so grateful. I'm so grateful for another opportunity to operate as me, just to be. I do quite a bit. I do vision board workshops. I have a group coaching program, Rise and Win, where I support women with giving voice to their vision so that it has full expression in their life, and I support them with releasing the emotional conflict that surrounds that whole choice. I do Periscope every week, Rise and Win tips with Coach Cynthia. I blog. I've published 3 books independently and am finishing up. I finish up a 4th book and, working to get that one out. I've done quite a bit because God has given me a voice. Oh, my God, I'm getting emotional. God has given me a voice, and I don't take it for granted because someone out there can benefit and grow and heal through my words. I don't take life for granted. I don't take the good relationships that I have in my life for granted. And I just want to encourage you not to do the same. Yeah, if you won that big jackpot, would life be better? In some way, but there'll still be something in life that just ain't quite right or could be better. I just want you to treasure the life that you have because cancer taught me at any moment your life can change. At any moment. And you can be slapped across the face with news that you never expected would be your news. You have to be healthy in your mind, healthy in your emotions, healthy spiritual-wise to be able to deal with some of the blows that life throw at us. And so if you get anything from this podcast today, I want you to get that life is fragile, life is precious. There's no perfect time to be the you that you were sent to earth to be. Actually, there is, and it's right now. Look in your life and see, where are you living your dream already? Before I started Dare to Dream, my business, I was in management at a Fortune 100 company, and I lived my dream there every day with my team, coaching them through personal and professional situations. As a mom, I lived my dream, coaching my daughters through being bullied and having academic challenges, social challenges, how to be their best selves. So who you are, even as a young kid, I blogged about this, or I wrote an article. I did something. I'm always writing. I used to write for a magazine, Faith Heart magazine. But who we are, we see that early on in life. When I was a kid, I played teacher. I played preacher. I was always empowering. And I don't look at it like preacher as being in the pulpit, but preachers empower us with knowledge and give us tools so that we can live a more beautiful and wholesome life, a more God-pleasing life. So who you want to be, you are already that person. Just look in your life and see where it's manifesting. And then take intentional steps. That's another lesson that I learned, to be intentional. Don't take life, time, people, yourself for granted. That's my time, y'all. I've really enjoyed being with you this Saturday afternoon. I hope that something that I said has, sparked inspiration, motivation inside of you. I hope that it will push you forward into your purpose. Leave a comment. Find me on Facebook at Powerless to Powerful Podcast and share your thoughts about today's show. Any aha moments that you've had, I would love to hear about them. Meet me here again the second and fourth Saturday of November. I don't know what I'll be sharing. I really am just moved and motivated by whatever God put on my heart. I came up with this topic this morning at 3 o'clock in the morning. To everyone who has lost someone to breast cancer or is experiencing someone you're going through breast cancer, I want you to know that I'm praying for you. I send love, I send energy, I send light to you. Be encouraged in this season of your life. Even in this dark season, choose to make the best of the time that you have. Until next time, make it a great day on purpose.